Let's call to order this Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. Meeting of the Springfield Historical Commission. Walsh present, Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Walker, present by Zoom, Commissioner Brian McBride. Just for some procedural things, for those of you, I always kind of repeat, although there are four present and one in the Zoom. We are a form of the entire commission and not those present. So at any given time, we need 4 yes votes. If there's only 4 people, we need 4 yes votes for something to pass. With 5 present. With Brian McFarland. So we have a form, and not rarely. Okay. If anybody has any questions when you get on, please don't hesitate to ask. There's no minutes to review right now. So let's get right to the public hearings. First is 46 Oxford Street, call from Harvard Martin. Right here, give your name and address for the record.
Sure, Paul Martin, 46 Oxford Street, Springfield.
And explain what's, if this is an application for certificate of hardship, install exhaust vent for each of the 2 bathrooms, exterior change would be the housing service and full hardship and painted similar to the background. That's fairly straightforward. Is there anything you would like to add?
That's the explained. After they're installed, I'll paint them the same color as the background. So it should be minimal. Yeah, no need to know this.
I see it's going to be one of those that's just a kind of a typical event.
Yeah, they can try it.
Some are bigger and more obvious than others.
Yeah, no, I
This
think
is on the-
all they need is the same kind of thing you have as a dryer event,
Just have a front. The house from the street.
like one of those.
Yeah, I got it.
Painted.
Yeah.
A background.
Yeah, I just, and if you're standing in the road with the house, the right side, left side.
One is right in the front, but it's under an extension where the roof comes out a little bit. I think that one would be very difficult to see once it's painted. The other is right on the side, driveway, both the driveway.
Okay, well, we're just looking for, oh, I see. So this one, I'm just looking for, normally try to see what it looks like from the.
Oh,
right.
Yep,
So you're talking, you have one up under
it'll
here.
be underneath that slight overhang, yes.
And then. And the other one is just on the side.
Correct.
You must have a 3rd floor or something.
There is, yeah, but that path.
That's what I'm saying, the 3rd floor makes it more difficult to.
Oh, yeah, it would be very difficult to extend the ventilation out that way. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's all right, that's good. That's the second. So the first. Let's get back to the first one, just for. So it's gonna be right up in the,
Yeah,
right up above that window that we can't see what's above the window now.
that's shaded, yeah, the
Right.
slight overhang is,
Okay.
that's where the bathroom is, to the right of where your cursor is. Right above
That one right
the
there,
front door.
right there. Above.
Above the front door, there's a slight extension of the roof,
To the right.
yeah, and up under
He's not doing a gable method.
No, I don't think I need any cables.
So it's a gable doesn't make it.
It'll be similar
They
to,
barely show when they're up in the gable like that, but I'm okay.
I can
Either one
ask
of these.
if they could use something like that, but what would it would be flat against, yeah, okay, I'll ask if they can use that.
Any questions? I'd like to open this to public commentary. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against this application for a certificate of hardship at 46 Oxford Street to install the exhaust vents for each of the 2 new bathrooms he's putting in? Anybody for, anybody against? Seeing none, I'll close the public commentary. I entertain a motion to accept the application for a certificate of hardship The hardship being that. Is that there's no other feasible outlet.
Correct, yes,
It's a cultural,
very
feasible
difficult
outlet to do it.
to get through the second.
So I entertain that motion. So
Second.
is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let me make sure. It's in the right place. Okay, let me call the vote. Commissioner Wallace is yes, Commissioner Nardi. Yes. Commissioner Judith Paul,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walter Crowe.
Yes.
Okay, that's passes it all set. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks. Okay, next is 42 Thompson Street. It's an application for certificate of appropriateness of 42 Thompson Street, installation of rooftop solar system. Please email. Your name and address for the record.
My name is Robert Becker. I'm from Village Falls now.
Okay.
From Sunrun.
What's the company?
Sunrun.
Okay, we have the permission, slip carry permission. No. Okay. Tell us what's going on.
We're installing some solar panels on the home. What our intention is.
Yeah. Okay, now, you know what our general goal is for installation, so it's minimal visibility.
Yeah, there's no other feasible way being that the,
But I don't necessarily need to take the panels.
yeah,
I mean, the conduit, things like that.
Right, so on the
And where
sides.
where the
on the sides of the
here
house.
is. So do we have in here where the things are going to?
It's going on the side of the home.
Okay, that doesn't show it really.
On the left-hand side as you face the street?
Yeah.
Behind the fence,
There's, yeah, it's a,
or the front of the property?
it's more on the front of it.
People don't have.
You can see it right here in this picture here. Right here.
So if you go to that first picture. To your right, but it's from the street. It's gonna be basically where the truck is,
Where the truck is.
Exactly.
right? So if you go to that next one. It's gonna be like past the fence, but not quite to the
It's in front
end of the
fence.
corner.
Yeah, that's where all the information right now.
And it's gonna come from the roof down, or is it gonna come
Right,
from
it's
just
gonna come
out from the
it's gonna come
basement
from
up?
the Roof down. To the,
What is there now? Is it?
there's just a meter right now.
Same truck in a way.
Yeah, this brand is truck.
It can't go behind the fence.
It has to be within 10 feet, and that's a little bit over 10 feet. The fire department is within 10 feet. For this connect. Yeah. That's what I think.
How, what's, do you have
And it's minimal equipment, it's an inverter and a shut off.
This comes from the top down, right?
There'll be a conduit coming, down.
This house is actually newer construction.
So we might be able
Like
to,
10,
so we
20
might,
years ago.
in worst case scenario, but we might be able to snake it through, without having to do that.
That's my question.
That's what we generally
Because,
try.
Yeah, it's a much newer house,
Yeah.
but there's probably a better chance of it coming down the inside.
Yeah, that's what we like to do.
Then you wouldn't see it, it would come out, and you have the inverter without the conduit down the side of the house. Was that a possibility on this? or-
That is a possibility.
What would you
In
say?
the worst case scenario, it would go down along the side, but, you know. More than half the time they're able to get it inside the house, you know. By the conduit.
If it were outside, something that's paintable,
The homeowners should paint it once we're done,
that's
for
the
sure.
side. And. You can give us a relative idea of what size the shut up, I know size of shut up,
The shut off is about,
but the rest of the rest of
the
the.
inverter is about maybe two feet around basically in a square. And the shut off's about, 12 by 10 approximately maybe. And if they put it to the left of the meter, you're not really gonna pick up on it too much there.
Sure. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? And it's, have you done it before?
Yeah.
You gotta be right.
Yeah.
You gotta be right.
And there's no other feasible way, to do it.
Well, anything that you can
Yeah,
hide,
exactly.
you want it,
So
anything that is potentially for minimal visibility. It's just a shame that I couldn't be behind that fence and solve the whole problem. What's the conduit look like coming down from the roof?
It's
How big is
it's
that?
about an inch and a quarter.
Okay, so. Just checking it out. Just trying to think, there's no homeowner here tonight. No other comments from anybody?
But generally, we always try to minimize the amount of exposure on the conduit. That's what we're doing, so it looks as pleasing as
I've seen
possible.
something bigger, much bigger than an inch of paint. Before, so.
I think we have
So
this,
that's a good.
I think we have the spec in the packet that
Yeah.
you provided, so they're
But
probably.
sometimes we get a little, sometimes we get a little better rendering
Yeah.
of what the size of the be on the side. Buddy, Brian, you have any comments or questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well. If there aren't any, we open this to public commentary. If there anyone here who'd like to speak for or against this application for certificate of appropriateness at 42 Thompson Street to install a solar panel system. Anybody for or against? Okay, seeing none. We'll close the public commentary.
No, the EMT is actually 3/4 inch.
Okay. Minimal's good. If there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 42 Thompson Street to install rooftop solar panels.
So move with the addition that the conduit first choice be run through the interior of the house with an exterior shut off. If that's not feasible, the conduit be painted to match the exterior. of the house.
Second, any discussion on that? Hearing none. Let me call here the vote. Commissioner Nardi? Yes. Commissioner Jewett?
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland?
Yes,
Commissioner Walter Crowe?
Yes,
Commissioner Walsh, yes. Okay, just, you just keep in mind when you come before, it's the minimum we love them.
Yeah,
We know that the panels have to do their job.
yeah. So they got it, right?
Yeah.
So just try to minimize the conduit and
Yeah,
if the homeowners want to paint it, if they could.
Well,
that's right. It's part of the motion. Inside or expand.
Okay.
it's not required.
Insider painted. All right, insider painted.
That'll be on the decision.
Is
Page of the match.
what it should be,
Yeah, if it's,
inside if it's possible.
Thank you very much.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, 120 Buckingham Street. Replacement window. An application for certificate of appropriateness. To remove or replace 13 windows, like side alterations. There. All right, tell us who you are.
Yeah,
What's your address?
Yeah,
is?
Hannah Shivonen, and I'm work for Renewable Finance, so I'm the designer involved in the project. So what we're doing, we're replacing the windows with wood composite windows that each custom made for each opening, so there's no changes. And we can preserve all the trim in the interior and the.
Before we go any further.
Yeah.
Did they give you an email or something indicating you could speak for them, or is somebody here?
I provide.
Oh, you're the owner, okay.
Oh,
It's okay for her to speak.
Yes.
If you were not here, just for anybody who ever wants to know, if the owner's not here, it has to be in writing, it has to be presented to us,
Okay.
or we can't get it with somebody. You know, just to make sure, but thank you for being here. If you have any questions, just make sure you jump right in there,
Okay.
okay? Okay, so just, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I just had to
That's fine.
find out before we got going too far. So these are, our windows are gonna be very closely duplicating what's there.
Yes, so I have a picture here. What I said, this is computer generated. This is what's currently on my home.
Yeah, I have some, let me show you down here, I don't think I
Yeah,
have
they
those.
send, yeah, we use in a company, so they don't quite give as much
Yeah, I don't
information.
have those in my.
So those who are, and you can welcome to have them. So those are exactly, so if you look at, there's part of the application is the installation package. But then each window is numbered. I have numbered it on the picture itself.
Okay, so you have strong windows already removed.
The storm windows will be removed, so it's actually gonna be more period look after we.
And you have a color,
So it's gonna be white exterior, white interior.
it will be in this.
So the white in here, that is the color. Mhm. So it is wood composite, so it can be finished white as it is.
It's not gonna be a bright white. Fine.
Correct, we don't do vinyls.
What is the historical color for this area? Typically a dark color.
So it's typical, that's is what is currently on the house.
They, are any of them already replaced with vinyl? Or are they mostly original?
Those look to be original. They single pane, so they actually,
However ones, so no lights anywhere.
there's no lights in it.
You need to zoom in on some of those that are. Black or dark.
It is available. It would be altering the look of the house.
Well, the historic color is probably the
Yeah.
dark. The white is something that
Yeah.
somebody painted it after.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like a black window right there. What other,
So some of them are wood, some of them, so they could be deterioration.
Like that second floor, those are actually dark screens.
yeah,
There's storm windows on the front of them, so it's kind of.
Yep.
well, they don't look like they're white. They look darker than that. Now inside this. They're not changing, altering it.
That one is not changing at all. It's just that on the street view, there's only 3 windows that are changed, and those are.
That's the top ones.
Yeah.
It seems like. It sits pretty well.
Yeah, and yeah, it's gonna be custom made into opening.
Yeah.
And it's gonna follow the original 14-degree angle, so even the angles in the windows is gonna be that.
Any commissioners have questions? They want to discuss color. What are we feeling about color? quiet today. Well, anything about color? Brian, what do you think, color?
I'm not really certain. What do you think?
Well, as long as they're not bright.
So the color she's showing us is like, I
It is
don't know, like an eggshell type.
Yeah.
It's not bright light, but the photos we're looking at, the windows are dark. And, unfortunately, we don't have a picture of the actual window, but you guys know they will probably.
Well, they are, most of these are dark.
Yeah,
See here.
so, yeah, but we're looking at the pictures.
Right, yeah.
No, no, they're not. Behind the storm.
Oh,
Yeah, behind the storm window, they're trimmed.
Just like here, you can see the
Yeah.
windows are dark behind you. Windows. It's pretty close to the sill.
Well, I don't have some colors. But it looks like they're even.
Is there a very specific name on that color?
It's called white.
It's called white.
Can I see that?
Yeah, but our white is not like a hospital white, it doesn't look like a vinyl window or that. This is,
I know what they were doing.
it's like a creamier.
There's something that's starting.
No, I don't think.
If it's this particular window available.
It's a rare.
It is available, it becomes too hard process to manufacture, so there's a significant difference in price if you go into a darker color. So as long as the same color inside and outside, it will be the same price, okay? So, yes, because then it's like one time it runs through the manufacturing.
Is that where?
Yeah. Yeah, but we can do two color process if we.
But we doing a bit.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Yeah.
The inside.
Yeah.
Just want to read check a couple things here. Window guidelines. Remain the same size as originals, replicate the same window pane pattern as originals, which is clearly do have raised divides, but doesn't have divides, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Be dark in color if the windows have a factory applied finish, not meant to be painted.
This can be painted, but if you wanna ever paint it, but then you have to start maintaining it, because it's maintenance.
That is a finish that can be painted.
Correct,
We have the lower sash directly on the sill, not fit into a channel frame,
correct.
and that fits.
If the window fits everything.
Yeah, except for the color. So we could, if it's paintable, we could approve it with that it be something can be painted within a reasonable amount of time to a dark color. Unless we think that the lighter color is appropriate at this time. So, anyway, anything else you'd like to add? You got-
No, yeah, so we worked with a lot of historical.
Yeah, let's-
But like our white is typically approved as a historic white, because it's not plastic, so.
Yeah. I don't answer, I think if we went to a percentage, it would be very low that we could approve white, but we have
Yeah,
a couple of times.
Yeah.
We don't usually. I think why we did the last one, I guess I could show it the white, but I think or something.
I think,
yeah, I think
I think when someone had started, the owner here when started.
we do dark
replacing
color.
some windows. And so we just wants to fit,
Yeah.
look like the person bought it. They didn't tell me.
Yeah, like the owner prefers as it is right now, because you know, all the trim is white, everything else is white. So.
Well. Not sure that that's a preference, it's a pass.
Yeah,
Key is that it's paintable. We could okay the window and insulation as long as it got painted a reasonable amount of time, so dark color, unless commission would agree with the color that's there. know that what's happened to it.
Our dark color talking.
Well, what it would, I mean, you're the one who would know more precisely what the actual color of the old windows is on the outside. Now, some may have been painted, but in general, they look black in the picture.
Yeah, in
we
the
looked at.
pictures, you didn't black.
No, but what, yeah, right, but what color are they?
But they don't look white.
Hard to remember. I don't.
Yeah.
It's taking them off.
Typically, the early ones, when they were made, they were either black or copper or brown. So
Probably a brown.
Yeah, that was brown.
Then when you put the storm windows over, it darkens
Yeah.
everything anyway. You
I'll
get
say brown.
shades.
I would say brown.
I mean, are you willing to just to paint them in a reasonable amount of time?
Well, we can do two color process when they've already. Yeah, then you don't have to work on it. It's just kind of, because it's maintenance free as it is.
Right, yeah, that's why you're doing it. Have it there, not have it.
If it, well, two things can happen. If she can manufacture them appropriately. Then that's okay with you. If it becomes a hardship, then we might ask if they be painted after. If you had to. If the other windows, we could afford the lighter ones, not the darker ones. We still would ask that they be painted in a reasonable time to a darker color. But
It's still has to be.
it's still everything we're talking about, still have to open it to public commentary and then we have to vote. But if we can iron out some of these issues now. Then. Still black.
Saying.
I'm not pushing you one way or the other.
No,
It's not feedback.
It's gonna be more money,
It's gonna cost a woman.
so it's gonna be more money if you get two different colors, if you both sides are green, then you.
You know what I suggest?
Yeah, we have a grievance.
But with that, she's saying that.
Same money if it's inside outside.
Same.
Oh.
Same color inside.
Oh, it matches.
And it's still same.
Yeah, it's staying.
That's still a little light. But what do you guys think of the color? Better than going.
Is that one gonna cost a woman?
No, not. Each, it's inside and outside, all cost. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let me open this to public commentary on this application for certificate of appropriateness at 120 Buckingham Street for the windows. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against this application for the windows? Seeing no one, I'll close the public commentary. I entertain a motion to set the application for certificate of appropriateness 120 Buckingham to replace the windows with the where is it? So they're removed by what is it called? Which one is it? Yeah, it's 101. In a color. Sand color. Or darker.
Sandstone.
Sandstone or darker.
So
Second. Any discussion on that? Still okay with the talk? Okay. Hearing no discussion, let me call it the vote. Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes,
Walter Kroll,
yes,
and Commissioner Walsh, and Commissioner Nardi. Yes. Okay. That voted to pass,
Okay,
but I'm just noting that I would prefer like a darker color of some kind.
so sandstone or darker.
That's the way it's cast. But sandstone's okay.
Yeah.
If she finds that can't be done or something, then I think she could return out a hardship. And do that, make another agreement.
Okay. Well, right now it's okay, but.
Everything else,
Yeah.
you did something from the, that was the part.
Okay, very good.
All right. Okay, next is 118 Washington Road. The application for certificate of appropriateness, being the name and address for the record.
Susan Malone, 118 Washington.
This is an application to place 31 windows, Window World 6000 series vinyl. Triple pane and white, no change in size. Per already what I would like to. Sometimes it's easier to hear it ahead of time. Is anything from Window World here?
No.
Did they know you're gonna historic?
Yes, and they prepared the application for me. They said they've done this before, so
This is the window that you're illustrating right here, is probably not. I'm not sure about the number itself. See, this doesn't say what number this thing is. This is
6,000 DH.
6,000 series.
Yeah, 6,000 DH. I mean, look on the website.
Oh, you know what? It says, this is, I'm just reading it, so I'm reading it backwards a little bit, but that is the one that kind of just about sits down. What color are the windows now on here?
What color are the windows?
so as far as I know, they're right.
We're gonna pull that up there. There's no lights on any of them?
Lights.
Grids,
Oh, no,
all one over one?
Yeah.
Just, any of them are have grids,
No.
duplicated, and then they have to be exterior.
sure, no, none of them have this.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No, sorry, it's over.
Which one? Right there. I see.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Oh, something. Straight in that front. What do you have there now on the front porch?
They're just storm and screen windows.
Okay. And are you replacing those as well? Those
I
are
wish-
staying the way-
I wish I was, but no.
Well, only because if you were, you'd have to deal with the building part. That's the closing part of the problem. It's different than replacing it.
And no, we're not. Can barely afford to do what we're doing.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
It's not, it's not.
And the historic color there would have been also the dark. Are any of the windows currently there replacement windows?
No,
So you can see,
these are all original windows. Yeah.
they weren't restorable.
I'm not sure what you mean by restorable. I just wanted windows that would open and close. We had insulation, put into the walls. We just want to be able to open and close the windows, in which we really can't do right now.
Well, we've found, in fact, to do this for a long time, a lot of windows can be just maintained and repaired to be kept rigid. They still function a lot less money, function properly. Have you ever tried to with that?
Honestly, no, and I'll tell you, I am waiting and waiting and waiting for the few repairs I'm trying to make to the inside of my house. I can't get anybody to even come to my house and make any kind of repairs.
Well, in our discussion, Commissioner, any questions? We're still in the same place we were a few minutes.
I know.
Whether bright white vinyl window.
Any chance we have a picture from 1939 of that house?
I wasn't made aware that there were any other colors than the ones that I took. Well, I didn't choose, he just said these are the windows.
Can't get a picture for that. Okay, well, we don't have an original. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have pictures from the 1930s or whatever. Houses were built.
Yeah, the only, and I've ever seen it, I think there was one that was black and white, so I didn't get the information on that.
The ones in the porch actually look like black.
The black and whites will tell you that it's the way it's lighted.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the black and white photo what the color is.
It's dark gray, you know,
Right.
dark. That's the window. grills. Huh? Okay, so we have. That comes up on the ones. Yeah, no, the window that has everything.
Yeah, if they keep it at the same price, I'm not married to any particular color, and I would happily do it in a more
It's usually
historic.
the price of the choose the color.
Oh.
The stones come off. So what you want to see is. Whatever window you're putting, you can move it contrast to the dark horizontal in the porch area.
Well, so you're looking at.
Yeah, it'll really brighten up. You'll see the window a lot, that light's gonna pop.
It's gonna be very bright.
It's gonna be really bright because right now you have some softening with the storms, the silver and the shadowing. Once all that goes away, it's gonna see that way.
Well, let me, there's not any other questions? Then let me open this up for public commentary. I'd like to open this up for public commentary. It's application for certificate of appropriateness of 118 Washington Road. Replace 31 vinyl windows, Window 6000 series vinyl. Triple pane white. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak for or against this application? No. No fors, no against. I do have one email, I believe, here in a pile of paper. And you can enter that into the record.
It's up.
This is dated July 27th, 2023. Dear member of the Springfield Historic Commission, I'm writing in opposition to the window replacement application filed under appropriateness 118 Washington Road. Proposed windows do not meet the Springfield Commission's appropriateness guidelines on several points, and in my opinion, since the application did not include photos of the house or existing windows, it is not complete. The proposed windows are a significant change in design, although it's not specifically mentioned in the application. If you look at the original windows on the front facade, they are of an unusual design with the lower sash is about 2/3 the height of the window frame. The upper sash is 1/3 the height.
That's right.
Do we have pictures of that?
No, you know.
Proposed windows are 1/2 the height of both the upper and lower sash. That is a clear change in design which removes an ornate architectural feature from the house. I'm aware of a house that replaced similar windows under appropriateness of 8 so it's possible to replace such windows without changing the design. The proposed windows are white vinyl. The guidelines require dark colored material or permanent finish under appropriateness. And vinyl windows require special scrutiny because they're often designed with a sash and a channel rather than sitting on a sill the way a traditional window would sit. Replacing the storm-only windows with permanent windows on the second floor porch would be looked at and discussed, should be looked at and discussed closely, although the current triple track storms do not look great. Installing traditional windows in these openings converts the porch to a permanent enclosed space and thus should be treated as an application to enclose the porch, not a window replacement. With appropriate neighborhood notification. Sincerely, Ralph Slade, 270 Long Hill Street, Springfield, Mass. Okay, so one of these I picked up on anyways, but it's, so the second floor, are you replacing the windows up there?
The second one, not in the porch, none of the porch
None of the
windows are
porch.
being.
That solves that problem. The dark, because we're already discussing dark. These unusual windows, do we have any pictures of them?
We just have.
I mean, that we can see clearly what that they're unusual in design in some manner. Are they, what is this describing? Is there something?
See what he's trying to tell you, look on the inside of the storm window, the storm window is silver.
Oh, half down.
Inside the upper window is smaller than the lower. Window.
Yeah, it's like a third, 2/3, right?
Right, I read that, but I wasn't there. Wait, all right.
I don't think they're 2/3 and 1/3. I think,
But they're different.
but,
Because this looks like, I'm not gonna touch, but
Yeah.
that looks like the top part of that window.
Right,
That looks like the top part of that window,
is that?
and that looks like the top part of the window. Is that
I mean,
right?
those are my windows.
And then that would be so basically the bottom window would be the bigger one.
The biggest touchscreen I've ever seen, I think.
So that it would actually be like, that would be the bottom part of the window. Right, inside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a third, 2/3.
That's not what this window world.
No, they would do a
No,
regular
they
double
just want a
bumper,
double
equal
bump.
distance, right?
Which is what most of them is like.
These are the only three like that, or there. If you look on the side,
How
right?
many of them do you have?
Let's see, I'm sorry.
Like that,
Well, I'm gonna say 1/3, 2/3, I'm not.
Oh, there they are down below.
yeah, I think it would just be the front because
They're not on the side, right?
And it's not super noticeable because you have storm windows through the middle.
yeah,
so
I
it makes it
never
kinda-
really
Yeah, right?
noticed
Like,
it myself, really.
Yep.
And-
yeah. Those look like 50/50,
See, those are.
right? Like a normal setup.
Well,
Unless that one was the. Just.
no, that's.
Yeah.
So those front ones are beautiful.
I'd say that's not the box to repair the existing windows. You know, it's,
Maybe even in the front. How quickly are you trying to get this done? Obviously, you want it done as quickly as possible.
Well, yeah,
Certainly don't want to do another winter with them, right?
yeah,
Would you object to our like 30-day continuance, site visit? And the reason for that is that sometimes you don't have enough information with us to say those windows are not unique and not to worry about. I've never recalled these. It seems like something I want to see.
Yeah. And we do site.
Yeah, we try to get it as quickly as we can. We're not likely, did we already decide our next meeting was gonna be September, the first week of September?
September 7th.
so how would I know that these aren't something that a former owner
That's why.
put in? And that they were originally just.
I did find the 1939 photo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, aren't they?
So this is your house in
Uh-huh.
39.
And
So
what does it look like?
It looks.
And it does look like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you look, they're not white, let's put it that way. Well, whatever, but you can clearly see the divider, because this doesn't even look like there's storm windows on, so you can just see the actual. Yeah, I mean, this is the Preservation Trust website has
Oh.
that whole WPE project with a picture of it.
Okay, thank you.
Do you object to that? I know it's hard, but I don't think I have enough information that.
Yeah.
actually Hold on this application the way it is.
Sure.
If we had more specific pictures. More direct, exact pictures of what was there instead of what we're picking up on.
So what are the options if it's not approved? And you can say they can be done cheaper, but who's gonna do it?
Well, the options, right, we're not trying to not have you have windows. We're trying to have you preserve the historic features of your own home in a district where the more people preserve their historic features, the better everybody is. That's
Of
kind of
course.
why it's a district.
Of course.
And those windows, I think, are unique enough that maybe you know, you might replace other ones. And leave those to try to get that restored at some time. Because there are people around, and we can't, unfortunately, as a committee, we can't tell you who to call and what to do, that's the rules. You know, we can't direct you to somebody to help, but very often there's somebody sitting here that can. So I don't know if there's anybody here who knows someone who works on windows, and restores windows, but very often the people that sit here that do it. Well, can I, go ahead, please.
You know, if we postpone the vote. I would suggest it would be a good idea to find out from your contract or if they supply darker windows at the same price.
Sure.
See, I'm gonna figure window work could make, if these were not salvageable, they would probably be able to make them. These are these. I'm sure they these offset windows, yeah. If that's okay, I know it's kind of a little frustrating, but I really, I don't have enough information to vote on this. I would like to. So can we entertain a motion to continue to the September?
September 7th, so long as we have a 30-day extension.
So yes, with a 30-day extension. Okay,
Sure.
so
I would like to make that motion with, I still give the comment out the beginning to talk to the contractor about color. And give us the opportunity to do it. We're ready to do it.
great. Is there a second on that motion?
Second,
Thank you. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, let me call the vote. Commissioner McFarland. Brian, the vote on the continue? Think we
sorry,
lost.
my mouse was stuck here.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Walter Crowe.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes. Commissioner Nardi.
Yes.
Commissioner Dufour.
Yes,
Okay. So you'll be on the agenda. And Alvin will call, set up.
Okay.
What are good days for you or good times?
I have to be by arrangement because I work in Amherst during the day,
Okay,
so we'll just figure it out.
And then
Yeah,
evenings, all right.
Sure. Yeah.
We usually only do this in evenings. Occasional play busy in the morning. It's fine. But we will contact you and try to put together a site visit to see if there's some way we can help them preserve some of this story.
Okay,
All right.
great. Thank you very much.
thank you for your attention.
Yes, very much for that too. Okay, this is 168 Piney Woods Ave. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Your name and address for the record?
Christina Balazo, 168 Langwoods Avenue.
Okay.
It is.
This is an application for a certificate of appropriateness to remove the exterior effective material replacement kind of map existing design and appearance no change in design or location. Replace asphalt shingle with steel shingle to match existing exterior front porch. Change shingle is designed for exterior version include elements, primed and painted third floor windows and third floor landing windows, relays, and one or two small paints. Correct. Repainting and any other general repairs such as rehanging internal statuaries, storm windows, or change to the design or materials, jack and roll porch, repair, replace material and elements to match the appearance and performance of original materials. Fill stain and seal with paint, repair and replace to kind of match existing original design and appearance. Stained glass windows, 60 by 30 millimeter windows, landing window space without any change in the existing signs. See John Collins and preservation consultant report. I'm not document the detail.
We're just missing a few key elements, but
Okay,
you're better off looking at Shannon Watch's information.
okay,
It's more accurate.
okay. Well, it sounds that big by so. Pretty sure that was something else.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, we could be here for a long time, but you've got a lot of people behind me.
Yeah.
We might want to have another conversation. So I'm part of the preservation grant.
Okay,
So I have between $25,000 and $30,000 to spend. So we took a quick, we did, the usual walk around that when I was in the first group in the past year. Yeah, so I handed them a checklist of what needs to happen. They used that as the guide. John paid attention, or Shannon paid attention, John. No. It's just how things go. But this is pretty much what I've got all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna email you later.
one of my questions after I read this
Yeah, it
application
goes on for a while.
is just, is there any change to the material?
No, there's shape. There's shape. The previous owners did a Chico Charlie job on one of the, on one of the sides of the building construction by putting up asphalt and doing a fairly crappy job.
Yeah.
And they were fairly cheap. So that needs to be replaced. That's what it looks like now. That needs to be replaced with shingling. And that's on the opposite side. My neighbors on the right-hand side or on the, in the red house, finally took down a tree. And that tree was actually blocking any kind of access to. Yeah, to getting at it. So they finally did the right thing and they took down the tree. So, but the house, you can see the, so do you see the second floor? You can see the bathroom. You can barely see the second floor landing.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. So there are 3 windows on the west side of the house, next to the second chimney stack. The top window is the 3rd floor landing. The one directly below it is the 2nd floor landing. The one in between is the 2nd floor bathroom.
Okay.
So, so all of the 3rd floor windows, and there are 1, 2, 3, if you divide them up, 1, 2, 3, or 5 plus the landing. That was not on John's because John left it off. Shannon did not. But that was part of the original application for the Preservation Trust grant.
Okay.
That was, yeah, so that was in there. That window that you don't only see the top of on this, on the southern exposure or the western exposure, that's where a 60 by 30 stained glass window is going in. I had a conversation with Shannon about it. I showed it to her. I had it made about 15 years ago and just had not gotten around to doing it. Plus, I'm not going to get Joe Sixpack out there to put in a stained glass window. I need someone who is an artisan who's going to take care and put a deadline and things like that. So it is in keeping with it. It actually came out of a 1903 house in Rochester, New York, the lower section I had put together by an artist in Summers, and then did nothing. It looks pretty. It just, but Shannon said, yeah, put it in. Either that, or we just leave the up and down sash. But there's some deteriorated elements in that same window. The sill is gone. It's just gone, and that's a very simple piece. I could actually do that. The 3rd floor, you can't really see it, but it's in the curved area. The 3rd floor in the front, the southern exposure. There's up 3rd floor front, 3rd floor. There you go. That sill is actually metal sill. I put in a quick replacement thing just so it would deteriorate further. Just a piece of plastic that just lift across it. Sure. That whole thing needs to come off. It needs to be cut. It was originally copper.
Yeah. Oh.
I know, exactly. So we'll probably do something like, tin or something like that. You can see from the photograph, the banisters have come on, off, about 3 or 4 times. Those are there when I bought the house.
Oh,
Those are there.
because everything is here, seems, it was. Because you're getting money that. If you were, probably be under,
Well, staying adjusted would be a change.
well, it's staying other
It
than
would be a change back. Right.
Well, I have no problem with staying.
Yeah, so
That
it's-
right now.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great change.
Well, thank you. I
Unless
appreciate
it's something
that.
weird.
No, it's a usual urn, and I know,
Yeah.
no, it looks really great. I just haven't done anything with it.
Okay.
There's a couple things missing, but there's so much detail. That if you want the detail, Karen, we can provide.
Well,
You've got
I actually think they have enough here.
it.
Uh,
Yeah, there's enough to do. So
I mean,
the,
you're under the where you're getting the money, they haven't needed to be done, so. Anyway,
exactly, that's why I'm here.
so.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the petitioner?
And we want it all to be done right.
Right.
I mean, I didn't
I
want this
think you
neighborhood
are.
to mess
I
things
don't
up.
see, I read through it earlier and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no other questions?
There's just a lot to do, but it's easy. And I'm under the watchful eye of the historic consultant anyway. Shannon used to be my cat sitter, so she knows my house.
Yeah.
Inside and out.
More than any house.
She does. She does.
I'd like to, if there's no other questions, comments here, let's open as a public commentary. If anyone here would like to speak for or against this application for a certificate of appropriate 168 Pine Woods for the repair just described, please
Yes, my name's Harry Seymour and I live at 68 Washington Road. And I would like to say this is one of my neighbors and I trust that she is, and I didn't hear all of all of the changes were, but I trust that she is an artist and somebody who is actually going to watch over every bit of this very carefully.
Okay,
And-
that's 1-4.
And he looks right into my backyard, so he would
I
be
do.
watching over it carefully. so.
Yeah, too.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against? Hearing none, close the public commentary, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application. For a certificate of appropriateness, 168 Pinewood Ave for the proposed changes to the exterior front porch and standard blue note listed in the application. So. Discussion on that motion? Okay, where did I leave? Okay, Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes. Commissioner Al Nardi. Yes. Commissioner Judith Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for a great project.
That was more fun than I expected. Okay. Thanks. Have a good night.
Well, you're probably the only person I've ever heard say that here. But thank you for that. Yeah. 7076 Temple Street, installation of front yard fencing. Now, join us and just give your name and address for the record.
Gerald Enright, my address is 76 Maple Street. Okay, I live as a members.
Okay, thank you. This is an application for certificate of hardship. Were you before us? Before this? Relative business? The safety continues to persistent. Something from trespassers on the property. I'm not sure that word. Crime, crime, is that crime? Does that say crime?
Yes, there is time. Yeah, there-
Installation of front yard fence. You have some crime reports there, so tell us what it is that you're gonna do here. I have lots of material and crime reports, but I'm not sure what you want to do to.
I have a sample of fence.
That we will in a second, but I'm not looking, this here, it just says gate.
Okay,
You want to,
that is the entrance to number 70 Temple Street.
Okay.
It's from the parking lot. We would just put a gate there, 3-foot gate.
Okay.
Leading to the entrance. Yeah.
So is it from the street?
That number 70 is from the parking lot.
Which would be around the sun.
Exactly.
Right there?
See it right there, yeah, yeah. You walk right into the parking lot and immediately underneath the stairs is the entrance, the lower entrance.
So you want the.
So the entrance gate would be basically in the shadow there.
Exactly, right, yeah.
Oh, you want the gate here.
and the other fencing, you're bringing it out to the sidewalk,
Yes,
edge of the sidewalk.
it would be across the,
Is the condo association okay with that? Sorry.
yeah, I'm a trustee of the association.
Okay.
Yes, and, yeah, we feel it's a needed,
Yeah.
thing. We do realize that Temple Street right now is, it's on the front page of the newspapers.
Yes, can you just scroll a little bit more to the left?
So,
Yeah.
What I'm,
so to the left of each one of the stairways, is a doorway underneath the stairways. So we would gate across and there'd be a gate to go into the sidewalk leading to go under the stairs, which is an entry to the building. It's a lower entry, an entry to the top of the stairs, entry to the bottom of the stairs.
okay, what I don't know, I'm not sure if you do know, is if there's a city ordinance relative to where a fence can go on it. Relative to the property and the street. Sometimes
For that
there is.
street.
So the city ordinances for that's the zone residence A, I believe. I'm not sure. This may be a like residence B, a residence B, that nearby downtown district.
My understanding is that
Any
it has
idea
to be-
what it would be? I see there's obviously fencing nearby.
So this is residency, so this wouldn't pertain to this particular area.
Is what would not pertain.
It's-
Gate would be the same as, exactly the same as the outside.
So the zoning specifies that residence A, which is mostly single family housing. You can't have a fence between your front foundation and the
Yeah,
public
the
way.
public way.
But in residency, that's.
Very common.
Okay, it's not a restriction. Well, we're just, because. Some of this, sometimes we have to get information because it doesn't matter what we say, if it still violates some other rule, we can't override any other city rule or ordinance.
Right.
Even if we agree that because they have a fence, they also have to agree that.
Yeah.
That's,
So can we get back to where, where would you see it from the street here? Would it be underneath the overhang and back of the tree? Would it be right out front?
it's right on the line, they have it right on the line, and I was thinking it was backed up to a couple of feet, it would probably. Look better.
Oh, it's right. So it's-
I can answer yet, sorry, we get going sometimes, you go ahead, I'll keep quiet a little while.
He might know, he's.
I'll pass it down. Go ahead.
Our. The reason why we're fencing it is to keep trespassers off.
Sure. So I'm just asking where it would be. Like where, so is it gonna be like right up to where the brick ends?
Yes, it wouldn't be on.
Right where the
city
brick
property.
sidewalk
It'd
is.
Be right,
So right at the border, right? This would be right, basically right where the cursor is. Right, so where this baluster post is, it would go post to post,
exactly, yeah,
right? So it would go along where the brick ends.
right,
It would start there. And how tall a fence are you suggesting?
cannot be more than 3 feet, we've been told.
Okay, so
So
is he,
zoning,
okay.
yes, zoning told us. No more than 3 feet.
I was looking at that already, so I wasn't sure.
I just wanted to confirm, because, you know,
Oh, yeah, no. We feel that the fencing would enhance the historic nature of the district, we feel.
Yeah, while you're saying that, grab that little.
Installed by a GMH fence professional.
no, your fencing's still here. Just looking at the fence, that's all right.
Uh, 3 feet high. A gate in each. How high are those cement? You know, the corner posts kind of.
Both,
Yeah, what is?
they're higher than
the fence.
3, yeah. On the sketch I had, when I put in where the fence would be, it is scale.
Oh, okay.
I put it to scale, so you can kind of tell us it could be like a foot or so higher than the posts.
Oh, so 3 feet is city thing?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so it works.
This, you know, when I look at that, I think offset, setting it back 4 or 5 feet. With a little higher fence would actually look better, but you can't do it anyways. I mean, you go set it back, but you can't make it higher, right? Okay, well, you know. I think if you're walking by, yeah.
I think I'm okay, right up to the fire.
And when you zoom street, most of the fences, they are right
Yeah.
at the edge of the brick.
Yeah.
And you have black railings there already.
Yeah.
And is this is,
Hardship.
well, I mean, this is everybody's on board.
I am, I don't know.
No, I don't mean everybody, I don't mean all of us. People. I mean, everybody, this is kind of associated, this is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, we've
associated,
already kind of passed the hat for the,
no, but everybody. there was
It's
no-
been voted on.
There was no.
The HOA.
That was.
no,
Because I don't think we have any public commentary here. So we don't have anybody, still have to ask.
oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, you guys all set? Any questions? Please. Brian, anything?
No, sir, I think it looks all right.
Okay, all right, so given that, I'd like to open it to public commentary. Again, if there's anyone here who would like to speak for or against this application for a certificate of hardship at 70, 72, 74, 76 Temple Street to install front yard fencing.
I'm not speaking for or against, I'm just curious as to what the material is, so.
Well, that's, that's like
It's described as a commercial grade aluminum, not steel, it's commercial grade,
it will be black.
Yes.
pretty, pretty sturdy.
Anybody for or against? Seeing none, I'll close the public commentary and entertain a motion to accept the application of the certificate. The certificate of hardship at Temple Street to install front yard fencing as it's presented and attached to the application.
Someone.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Very at best. It's back to me, so I'll start this. Commissioner Walters, yes. Commissioner Nardi,
Yeah.
Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Judith Kroll, sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes,
Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Yes, so, thank you for bearing with us on the details. Just making sure. It was, did you show up? Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all.
Nice.
I'll stick this right in here. All right. You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give me a second. Where is next? Give me a second to check your.
That'd be so good.
Sorry, we'll just go back. I made a recording. Okay, next is 281 State Street. Installation of signage. Grab that seat, name and address for the record.
I'm Adam Mission here for Angoli sign, which is 722 Worthington, and on behalf of our customer. 281 State Street.
Quick for the permissions.
Sure.
Applications, quick motion, sorry. Did they give me any email or anything?
I think that was sent a while back.
Am I missing again?
Yeah.
They usually end up being found. All we're looking for, before we get into any discussion, I'm just gonna say what it's about. Application for the hardship. Remove the existing non-illuminated. Externally illuminated double-sided post panel sign and replace it with an internally illuminated sign for the tenants. I'm just hanging from that. I think I'm in a minute, and we might have to wait for this to try and find. This is what the meeting laws and rules we operate under, we can't take up an application without somebody being in writing being records. Okay,
I don't know if you wanna sort of. Here's an additional, yeah, we can certainly been in contact.
yeah, let's do it, this, we'll go over this, but anything additional on that, somebody now can make great. Otherwise, you may have to come back. Sure. Okay, so this is the application, particular hardship for sign, so. Let's see what we got going there. It says, it's a external light sign, and people have vandalized that.
Yes,
Is the sign, the replacement sign, gonna be the same size and shape and position as the old sign?
yes.
It's kernel number one. That's good. Okay, so we're just talking about
That's the
that.
sign.
That's, yeah, that's,
Oh, because in this
the existing.
kind of render here, it makes it look like you raise it up.
Yeah.
We,
There may be a height you can't go over.
we do actually have it raised up about 10 inches to the bottom of the sign. The other one, people were walking by, that's another reason for the internally illuminated and then raising it up slightly because of people were just kicking it. The previous sign had ground lighting and those were kicked over and ripped out. So it's strictly because of vandalism.
There's sign height ordinance there.
So that would go to the zoning administrator.
And I don't expect you to, or Alvin, I ask questions, but I know he's not gonna know. He just knows who to ask next. Did you by any chance check and see if the sign is, it's in the ordinance?
We have been,
Guidelines of this?
we have been in touch with I think it was Rick Jackson.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he had given us a verbal, I guess, but nothing past that.
Okay, so that even, again, now we have two things this will be.
Yep.
Because I don't know that something that high is appropriate in that position, that location in the yard. I understand that somebody's kicking it, but
It needs to be visible above where plows, snow. It needs to be lit because people are picking up their children. The entrance is around back to this building.
well, I get, yeah, I get,
So-
it's already been lit, so that's not the question. Internal, external, I'm not kind of okay with either one. I don't really care. I don't think that bothers me. The height, the additional height is generally don't, okay, a sign that high. And it's still crap. Usually you're either replacing something that's already there, and it's already there, then you can't. We can not, I mean, you can't be digital, certain things you can do, but if it's the same exact footprint size. Then it's not, then it just becomes not a capability. You just said you're only raising it 10 inches.
It's about 10 inches from the previous, from the bottom. That is not indicative, that picture of what the permanent sign is. It looks like there's something over that panel that they have put or something.
It's a different color.
I like the black post.
Yeah, that's an old painted wood sign that was there.
That's all the building. So you know what it looks like. So what do you think about the sign being 10 inches taller? I mean, it could be just perspective. I was walking down the sidewalk. It
Well,
might
part
not
of it's-
affect me the same way.
Part of it's the color because you have you have the dark windows and whatnot, the dark backdrop with all the detail, and you have a bright blue posted sign with white background. So it completely pops and makes it look bigger because that's what they want. They want it to be seen. But it also makes the sign stand out.
Yep.
It makes it look bigger than,
Yeah, it is.
it kind of
And what do you
shadows
think
the
about-
house.
So you would advise that the colors be dark, all the frame colors.
I mean, if the post were black, you could at least say it would blend with the detail of the house, but you'd still have the lit sign with the bright colors and their logo. Which
And that's something.
they'd be able to be seen, but if it had black posts like the old one. It
Sure.
would certainly match the structure better.
And that's what the sign is gonna be, what we're looking at right there, colorless.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
And the post can be,
Whatever.
those can be changed, yeah.
Okay. Anything else, any questions? Brian, any questions?
No, sir.
I'd like to open this to public commentary. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against this application for certificate of hardship? At 281 State Street, to replace the sign with this new plan, the sign post. 10 inches taller and internally illuminated instead of externally. The hardship is that they vandalized the external illumination in the sign because it was smaller. Or repeated vandalism. Anybody like to speak for or against? Everybody's quiet today, that's a good thing. Okay, close the public commentary, and entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of hardship. At 281 State Street to remove the existing externally illuminated double-sided post and panel sign, and replace with an internally illuminated sign. For the new tenant. The hardship is that it was repeatedly vandalized. The external lighting and the sign due to the size.
So moved with the understanding that the 284-inch posts will be painted black.
The cabinet frame for the sign would be black, but
Yes.
the posts are the only change there. That's.
The cabinet
We
already.
have the motion, we got the second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Vote. Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Cool,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter. Yeah. Commissioner Walsh, yes.
And just so I understand, conditional upon
Yeah.
receipt of our letter
something.
and
Elvis tomorrow.
the post black.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Yes, I should have put that in the motion, but I think that's sufficiently understood.
Thank you.
All right. Next. 114 Harvard Street. How are you, sir? Nice to see you. Okay, this is an application for certificate of appropriateness for the installation of mini split system. And just says photos in this could be sold, okay. The questions will be, I think you know this already, is that what's the, how do we minimize the visibility of the so you have
the units on the side, you can't even see them where they're small in size and they're to the side of the house, they can even see them where it's true. Because it's from the second.
that's it right here.
No,
That's
that's the opposite. That's the house. Yeah. The green car, yeah.
that one, okay. So the main goal is to minimize visibility from a public way.
Yeah, because see the other side there. Yeah, yeah, that's why they're gonna be on the corner there is you see the side. The side
Which one is that?
there. Yeah, that's the house there. So the middle split, they'll be on that side behind there. They'll be you can't see them
You
because
can't
they're
even see.
where the porch will be. So and for the dark thing, they will because they're gonna be from the outside, they match the color of the house, the existing color of the house.
Okay, because you have several, it seems like there's ducting on both sides. Multiple, you can have like 5 units. So you have a lot of.
There's one, yeah, there's the units because they go to the to different rooms.
Right.
But the big units on the outside will be just two. Yeah.
All right, so it's gonna be where relative to that picture.
You see where it says tie back there?
Yep.
Will be there, be down below there.
On that ground right
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, and the ground.
Okay. You have,
And then the minimum is going more through because to the other side of the where the driveway is, we will go through the basement. So that it goes through the basement, yeah, and then goes up. There's nothing on the side of the driveway.
okay, let's see what the, in the, on that side, that's still right there. Can you just zoom out of that a bit? Okay, so in that one, you have. Yeah, it's up.
Because the house has been painted, the car, the thing that you see right now is different than the color of the building. And it's black and white now, and mine is different, so.
Go to the other side of the house. Want to kind of get a view from the street. So some of these ones in the back are going to be minimally visible anyways.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that will be.
Right there is going to be the one that's the visible one or two.
We. Because that one, yeah, it might be visible, but what they told me, the contractor told me what they do. Because it's whatever the document will be,
Yeah.
they will just match to the color,
Right.
the house. So even if there are 5 different, whatever colors you have, we paint over, we just paint match the color which is there.
Well, that's usually one of our requirements.
Yeah, so it doesn't stick out, so.
Any commissioners have any questions for the petitioner? Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, the key here. Okay, the size of the ducting, that's usually fairly.
It's just, yeah, it's a concrete thing, just like the, it's almost the same thing as the, what do you call it, the guard, I think, so.
Yeah. No questions for the petitioner. Let me open this to public commentary. Does anyone here like to speak for or against this application for certificate of appropriateness at 114 Harvard Street for the installation of mini split systems? Anybody? For or against? Nope. Hearing none. I'll close the public commentary and entertain a motion to set the application for certificate of appropriateness at 114 Harvard Street. The installation of mini split system. Conduit painted appropriately to match the color of the siding and the base units to the rear of the building.
Yes.
The reason I don't that in for the motion is if they also said they have moved somewhere else, you have to come and tell us.
Yeah, they will not, so I told them, I've come here several times, so I don't know.
Okay, I thought, yeah, it does. Okay, if somebody could make that motion.
So move.
second,
Thank you.
This is just procedural question, just. from
Yes.
my application. This falls under appropriateness.
Tell me what would be can change it.
Well, I mean, it didn't have split deck AC with the houses, so it's correct. Typically, when we say same materials, you're making a change. Sticking an AC thing in it, so. Is it still fall under appropriate?
Yeah.
That's for the bathroom. Mechanical.
It's just.
I'm just, for my own
You know, it's
procedural,
Good
I just
question, I don't have the answer. It's,
that's what our.
if it's minimally visible and it's appropriate, that's kind of how fit to the appropriate, the standard, but I could read that for us right here.
I don't want to
You want to take a
second
second?
everybody up here because they've been waiting a long time.
No, well, it's nice to be please throw that. Appropriateness. Issued for those changes that are in conformance with guidelines and are acceptable or acceptable for the district. Hardship issues for those changes are not applicable. Which may be necessary due to economic, business, social, and special conditions. And non applicability is issued for those changes that features not controlled. Guidelines and or are acceptable for the business. Thank you. That was the question. You know, to me, the appropriateness falls under is how hard they try to make it visible. In my mind.
Okay, so first and second.
We got a second discussion on the motion. That was it. Any more discussion on the motion? None. Okay. Commissioner Al Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Cool,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
yes,
Commissioner Walter Troll.
Yes.
Commissioner Walter, yes. Some changes, you know.
Sure, yeah,
Different than what.
yeah, thank you very much for
Okay.
everything, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 75 Mulberry Street. This is an application for hardship. Remove the roof of the carriage house door, leaving the first structure.
Yes.
I know I did. Maybe you can sit right up, just hold the chair. Think they're welcome there. If you could give your name and address for the record.
My name is Lori Campbell and it's 75 Mulberry Street, Springfield.
Okay, so I've looked at this, I know it's. Let's recall this, that at some point, we looked at this demolishing carriage house and it was like fine. Pull it right through the whole stick out fine, so it's fine investigation. I would say you didn't work successfully with that.
It's hard to get people right now any way to get construction being done, but it hasn't been successful. The garage is just kind of, the carriage house is just kind of deteriorating, so.
Yeah.
I had a historian come in and he said that it can be saved, and then you just remove the roofing and the facing and it's on cement, so it should be safe to remove and wait for some money to get it rebuilt.
Okay, I understand that, especially from this picture here.
Then at the beginning, I went to, yeah, and I've been going back and forth with this because I wanted to originally tear it down.
I'm just, part of it is taking that roof, because when you repair it, it's likely to be widened, constructed. And, how are the side walls in general? If you look at this one, it makes it look like it's tip, but it really isn't. I don't know if it has to be called things.
There's bricks. Mike, you want to say?
Jump in.
Hi, I'm Mike Newman. I live next door at 81 Mulberry Street.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know when that picture's from, but it doesn't look anything like it does now. The roof and the doors can't be any more collapsing.
Yeah, they got a new picture here.
Yeah. So,
The low one, this one here, this is from the side. So it's not, this is actually stable.
Yeah.
So
So you look at that, it makes it look like.
yeah, it's just the angle the angle of the picture. Yeah,
Okay.
so from the side all the way around the back, the sides and the back are stable. It's just the front with this wood beam and the,
That's typical.
yeah.
Absolutely, that was perfect.
Right.
Okay. They need some guidance on this. And I certainly don't want this to, someone to get hurt, especially somebody.
Exactly. I've been trying, like I said, I tried to demolish it and they.
can I add one more thing? I know that you're gonna be talking about 63 Mulberry later on, the carriage house there. That carriage house is in far better condition than this one. And you got somebody got a court order to tear that down, so.
Well, that's, one of the things we have to be really careful doing here, or not doing, is associating one thing to another. So while I understand that, that can't be part of what we do when we look at an application.
I'm just making a statement.
No, I don't, and I'm glad you did. Everybody's always encouraged to speak up. There are times when I have to not have people say anything, but right, everybody's been patient. So I appreciate it. I don't think they don't. I'm just saying, sometimes we have to draw our minds differently. And I'll give you an example, because some people have been here before, and I know it. Somebody will say, well, another house did it. You can't ever do something because another house did it wrong. You can't let somebody do something you wouldn't approve because someone else did. So I have no idea about the other property. I'm looking at this one. This is sufficiently damaged to me that I think we have to seriously take into consideration here. I could see that. I'd be worried if I was living in a house. But are there any things I have to do with certain here? Hey,
Can I just get a clarification?
yes, please.
Are we being asked to demolish?
Yeah, actually, no, she wants to keep the walls for future restoration, but the roof, she doesn't want it to fall in, so she wants to do cutting the roof off.
Right. You have 4 walls.
So
Right.
Actually, 3.
Three.
Take the doors off.
the doors can come off, and then she can stabilize what's there at some future time, rebuild, that's.
Yeah.
So then they're gonna have to weather protect.
Those are all brick walls.
Your bricks, yeah, for
All
like
bricks.
2 to 4 years, the historian said.
I don't have a problem with this, I'm not sure if anybody else does.
That was my only other question is what, what's your plan in the meantime?
Trying to get
Slab,
resources.
Grade, field or
Yeah.
something. You don't have a second thing, which is the first start.
Yeah, right now it's just my safety, safety
Absolutely.
and from there we'll go.
Brian, do you have any comments on this one?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay. All right, let me bring the public in on this. If there's anyone here who'd like to speak for or against this application for certificate of hardship at 75 Mulberry Street to remove the carriage house roof and doors. Anybody for or against?
I'm in favor.
Anybody else? For or against? Name, gotta have your name and address have to come with it.
21 Buckingham Place, Beverly, Brooklyn.
Okay, you're,
Beverly, Brooklyn, 21 Buckingham Place.
okay, you said for.
Yes.
Okay, anybody? Anybody else? Any against? Hearing none, I'll close the public commentary. Entertain a motion to accept the application for a certificate of hardship at 75 Mulberry Street to remove the roof of the carriage house in the garage doors in the hardship is creating an unsafe condition.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none. I think with me, Commissioner Walsh is yes, Commissioner Malnardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Hey,
Yep. Thank you.
if
And thank you.
the walls cannot come, if the walls come down, and then you can't do that. Okay, just so you know, this is very specific, that the brick walls have to be preserved.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll make it safe.
Yeah.
Okay, next, 21 Mountain Views. It's an application for certificate of appropriateness to replace all fire damaged windows in the house, existing white vinyl windows with the white vinyl windows, repairs the side of the existing. No, type, name and address for the record, please.
Pablo Yusenko, with ADLC.
So you are a member of the ownership.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what do we have for pics of this?
The fire damages in the.
You're right, I meant the back picture, I meant the kind of picture before it's.
This is all correct.
Sorry?
I thought it was a new one. Oh, okay.
Take it, this is an over. So you have all, those are vinyl replacement windows already,
Yes.
okay. Although you have,
Not
not,
the originals up top.
those are originals up top,
Mhm.
those are likely to be gone or destroyed now, correct?
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're
Most of the fire was on the second and third floor,
Yeah,
so those were all burned up.
yeah. Did you research at all what? Historical replacement window would be? We've heard some of our discussions today about that. What I allow you to do. That siding is, you're gonna use the Fiber Smith siding. Is that what's on
I don't believe so, but that's what the closest thing that matches it, which is exactly the same. We're gonna paint it, try to paint in the same part of the house as
there? Okay.
right now.
Do we have a historical? Awesome. Vinyl wax lips. That's all.
I'm just looking at the map side pictures, you know.
So the scope of the repairs is repair and everything.
Yeah, everything is.
Replace all the fire damaged windows in the house. Instead of white vinyl windows, the white vinyl windows. Repairs, siding, of the existing siding. For any, you're gonna be doing any repairs to trim work. Porches.
Porches, stands right now, it's the porch, the front porch looks pretty good right now, so there's no plans.
Right, all of our purview is only over anything visible in the public way. So even if you think you're from a specific fire engine, put it on the paper and come see it. And it looks like, oh.
Isn't that pretty?
Looks like the original windows might have been there.
Yep.
Okay. They had, kind of like the prairie windows at top. The 1/1s actually had.
Okay, so they already got rid of that.
They already
that
got
upper-
rid of the railing.
Upper rail, been long gone, and it's got white vinyl there, which leaves us with a problem. Well, not a problem, but
Well, my only question is you have nice prairie style finish on the 3rd floor with all those windows. Is that gonna stay the same or are you proposing to just do 1/1?
Yeah.
1/1s, yeah. There's
Because they still look like they
everything's
were.
not inside, I don't know how much. Is in budget for.
Because those can
Right.
be, they make, I mean, they make windows like that.
But they look like, so they're damaged.
Everything
up there, and he wrecked everybody.
Everything burnt down. The roof, a lot of the roof was went down as well.
Once those top windows were replaced, the white vinyl below have been replaced, but I think those, everything on the 3rd floor is original.
They were on the side too, yeah.
Except the 3rd floor is not
Right,
vinyl.
right. Because you have, replacement windows already in the house. You can replace them by vinyl. What we'd like to have you consider is to find a vinyl that's slightly more historic, like that couple of ones we did earlier. That sit part of the, regular replacement windows, it's all vinyl.
Yeah.
It's a lot of length. And goes in a little rail at the bottom. And historic windows gonna fit, that come down onto the sill much closer, it'll be thinner. Because some companies make some nice windows, they're not terribly more expensive, well, they're more expensive than the cheap vinyl. So. In my mind, I would love to have you consider, and I don't know if you can. The only thing that we can actually almost even ask of you is that. You mimic those upper windows correctly the way they are. Because that would be our historic position in general. The white vinyl windows that existed, you can replace them with something like it. I would like you to consider replacing with something that would look more historic.
Okay.
But the upper ones fall under what we do normally do, and even if they're destroyed, you would normally want that to be mimicked.
So you mean mimicked in shape or in?
Well, one's on the bottom with the.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see the grids,
So
yeah.
that you would have, that would be duplicated in the window with external grids.
Okay.
And in doing, and I'm not sure what's on that side.
Same on the.
It's the same, you can see.
No,
the
but
same
what's the middle one?
I don't know what that was.
I thought that was just siding.
Is it?
Maybe it's.
Yeah, it's some other, could be some other differences. Maybe, I don't know. mean, the siding is, you're replacing, mimicking the siding fairly exactly, right? Yes. It's gonna be painted. So I'm less concerned about that, but it gives you a chance, because restore is, it gives you a chance to out of the gate to restore something that wasn't there before. You know, you don't have to behind the windows. If you have anything replaced. But I'm asking that you consider it. The lower windows to find a potentially more historically appropriate window, that's the side, less vinyl. Dark colors.
We have actually approved windows on our website of other people that done projects with approved windows. So you can actually see.
Right, and we don't, only a couple times have we approved white. Like I said, one in the house has been white for like 50 years, every picture you would find was white. But in general, they would be a darker color on the outside. Any grids have to be external, they can be in the middle of the glass. But to restore those up there to that original would be adding even the side. Can you zoom in on that one down, like those stairway windows? Yeah. That's as far as it goes. Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily ask you to stay glass there.
No.
But
It doesn't look like a standard window. Right down.
you know, you have a huge project ahead of you. And it's in it, you know, the location that would probably benefit more historic people than less. But I think it would benefit, people. I don't feel it even paying. But I'm not sure what to tell you about those windows. One over whatever those they call this, and external grids and
Arby's would call it prairie style.
prairie stuff. You know, what are you thinking about that?
You gotta advise with the rest of the.
Yeah, we should. Okay, we can take, I'm not taking, I'll use that word. We can continue to the next meeting. Okay. If it's okay with you, are we still within the time frame?
30 days. Okay. Yeah, the other thing is the siding. I don't know if you want to recommend the siding today or if you want to push that off as well.
I've read through the, you guys, what do you think of the siding? I have no issue with the siding. So it's,
But thinking about their budget, then you want to do something different in general.
well, do we have an old picture on this? We just have it. Who's doing it?
It wasn't like shakes of the original.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it wasn't that shakes. Yeah, that's.
That's from 1939.
This stuff is probably, so that's what the house looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. And it is.
You guys, you see the second floor windows? See when they, like inside, you know, like in a kind of.
The original prairie. Is the siding on there currently?
Yeah. We don't want to rip it out. We just want to replace whatever we can, whatever's damaged, just fix it. That cement board, 65 run, that's it matches it exactly. I think it's a best way around some cement.
I think that's. I think they're okay to do that. It's the same. Because if you really want to make it historic. That'd be a heck of a this. We can separate these two issues, decide. Actually, let me go to the public. No, we can continue. Siding. So let me do the public hearing. I'd like to open up for public commentary on the application for certificate of appropriateness to repair at 21 Mountain View, repair the siding with existing. First page. Fiber cement siding, weatherside fiber cement siding that matches and to be painted to match. Does anyone here like to speak for or against this application? This is just part of it, we're all splitting it in two. Just relative to the siding being matched and painted. Any for or against? Seeing none, we can close public commentary and entertain a motion that we take item number 2 from the application, the certificate of appropriateness. repair the siding with existing cement siding, weather side fiber cement siding. Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
yes,
Commissioner Walter Kroll. Yes. Commissioner Walsh, yes, Commissioner Nardi.
Yes.
Okay, so the siding is up, you're all set on the siding. Okay. And now I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of appropriateness for item number 1 with a 30-day extension of the application by AAD LLC to replace all fire damaged windows of the house, existing white vinyl windows. Wet vinyl windows. So moved. Second. Two, just put a date on it, to September
September 7th.
7th.
That's for the property owner to explore window options.
To explore window options, please. Okay. Now seconded. Okay, any discussion on the motion? So the votes to continue, Commissioner McFarland,
yes,
Commissioner Walter Kroll. Yes. Commissioner Walsh, yes, Commissioner Nardi.
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll.
Yes.
Okay. So. Okay, so you got half of that done. Okay. And then we'll see you on the 7th. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 21 Buckingham Place. You the earliest one here.
Yes, sir.
You sure were. You were the first one here and very patient. Thank you for that.
Goodness.
Okay, this is an application for particular appropriateness to replace the front door. Let's see what's the replacement. We have a good picture of the one. Place. Let's have a picture of what we.
Yeah.
That it right there? Thanks, Sean.
No, that's it. It's there, you look quick. That's the door. Is there a reason that you're replacing it?
Well, I've never used the front door since I bought the house because it's not able to open because it's defective.
Is it something that's repairable or something?
No, it's rotting. We will have to make sure it's rotting. It's old.
Yeah, I know it's old, that's why we're trying.
No,
I don't see the doors being damaged, I see some of the hardware, and some of the finish looks damaged.
the door itself is rotting.
Yeah. I don't doubt it, except I can't see it. In the door that you offered to replace, it's a steel front door, which is not probably gonna pass. The end of the doors. Have you looked at any other types of or something that more closely mimics that door?
Yeah, look at a couple of doors. Whichever one more comfortable with.
Yeah.
As long as I'm able to use my front.
As long as they close it. Right?
Yeah.
See it?
They say they can't be open.
Right. Windows and doors.
Revival. Door is also important because it's like the first thing you see the house. So you want something that's gonna have that. And that's a 4-panel, right? There's nothing on the top.
Yeah,
So
there might be
There are two
two
up top
smaller
there.
ones up top.
So it is an 8-panel door. Or 6-panel door, sorry.
Size, location, and design. Must be something else. Not fine. Any commissioners have any questions?
And then color, if this was the door, what are you gonna, what color you gonna paint it the same color or
Same,
same color?
yes.
Is that says 30 by 80, but is that actually the size of the door that's in there now?
Yes,
Or do they have to make it adjust the size of the door frame?
we don't have to adjust this.
Um. Well, you've been very patient, but you might be less patient in a minute, because I know that suggests. What you brought us doesn't show that there's any damage to the door, it shows that there's damage to the frame and damage to the hardware.
But when you try to open it, you see all those droppings coming down.
Okay.
So it's.
I don't doubt you, I just don't, it's not in front of me. We have to respond to what is actually pictured. So if we had to take more pictures, it would be easier for us to make a decision. So what I might suggest is when you heard us, the other person is there. Now, it's a lot of us to come and look at look at your door before we make a decision. And because that solves a lot of issues. Sometimes we know that it can be repaired and can give you some ideas. And other times we know it's just gone. Nothing you can do. But some would like to do that sometimes before we make a decision. Anybody agree, disagree? Anybody?
Agree, like this. From the pictures, it looks like we need hardware. At least the pictures that you provided, you can't tell you this. But clearly you live there, so you must see that.
It can't open.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Since I bought that house, that door never opened.
This,
Okay.
is it okay that we should continue and come by and just look at the door and see if we can suggest something that might maintain the historic presence? Okay. Okay, so would you give us a 30-day extension in order to get to the next meeting with your application?
Okay.
Okay. So. Okay, entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of appropriateness of 21 Buckingham Place to inspect the door, the front door. And so we'll have necessary information for us to make a decision. To the 9/7. Second. Any discussion on the motion? Bring it on. Okay, let's start. Commissioner McFarland?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Commissioner Wall, yes, Commissioner Al Nardi.
Commissioner Al Nardi.
Yes. Al Nardi.
Maybe Mr. Nardi.
Judith Crowell.
Yes,
Okay, we've continued that, so we'll put it on. And we'll put it on early. This point. This first one here rated all that patient. We appreciate that very much.
So somebody will call me or?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And what times are good for you? Any particular days or times of day? Better or worse for you?
I love morning.
Oh, so do I. Okay. So we will, there could be a week or two from. We'll call and say.
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Okay, 61 Thompson Street. This is an application for a certificate of non-applicability. Renovations include the following: wood carpet siding, cornices, beams, trim board, found handrails, fair wood from the roof, flooring, lattice, foundation, no change in design and feature. I like that.
Since your house here.
Okay, so nothing's being changed, just replaced with the same second material, and that makes it easy. Are you getting money from, are you, what's it called? CPA? So this is just a non.
So just wanted to make sure that you guys were ready for the sewer substantiate, so they haven't coordinated.
All right, so tell us exactly what, I mean, I've read a lot here, tell us exactly what's going on. There's a gift block, okay? From Massachusetts. We went from Massachusetts, okay? We got two houses over there. We drove all the way over here today. Good, go back. Yeah. We're not even in the house yet. The house is all like outside. But we want to know. But everything the same. She was my wife, and she always like going house. Yeah, you get it. It's fairly straightforward to me. It's not applicable. But if you change, if you can't, make sure you have to use the same kind of wood. Yeah. So if you find that you can't use the wood, or you have to change something because we don't know about this, then you do have to come back and do another meeting to tell us what you're going to change. Good. So this is, anybody agree? I agree, yeah. We don't have to have a public hearing on this, and we just decided that for these, we don't really need to have a recorded vote, we just have information. So I ask that all in favor of this application be non-applicability, just say aye.
Aye.
Brian? Yes.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So you're all set. Just if you find it just changing anything, railing heights, things like that, if you're changing anything, you gotta do the application.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project. Yeah, it should be beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, now, other matters. We have a few other non-applicability. I can't read this. And I read that somewhere. Good question. Yeah. In order to continue with the form, we have to have a form here. Or Brian would not be able to join us online.
It's a majority, you just need a majority here. And then.
But for mine,
It's a majority.
No, you don't necessarily have to have a form in the room.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
Just a majority of the commission.
Have to be in the
room.
Okay, so it is okay if you thought.
Yes.
but for 61, for me, he needs to be.
Okay, so let's look at what's going on here. 61.
Yeah, for 61,
Okay.
Street.
Now, there's nobody necessarily representing any of these here, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, which one are you representing?
151 Westminster.
Oh, thank you for speaking up. Sometimes we do non-ability, nobody's here.
Would you want to take 61 out of order?
I hope you don't mind if we take one out of order while we still have somebody here, but we'll be right back to you. Yeah, we're gonna take a 61 Dartmouth out of order.
Okay. Here's the front porch.
Okay, this is an app, but it's under appropriate, which is right this second. Why is that? Application for certificate of appropriateness, front porches. Ground left side support, bottom column. Oh, I see. So
You may change it to non-applicability.
well, if it's
No,
not applicable,
it's my existing porch. It's collapsing on the left side and actually routed on the right side. I got pictures attached. It's going to be replaced with the exact same materials. There'll be no change in materials. No changes.
yeah,
I know comments is different again. That means I have to start doing the already.
yeah. Well, you have to get permits. Whatever permits are necessary.
Perfect.
So you'll get a certificate in the mail.
Perfect. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, you could. Okay. You tell me, is this not applicable?
It's not applicable because I'm not changing anything and I'm replacing it with the same material.
Okay, so.
I think you can see the pictures right there. So
Okay, so
I'm happy to change the check mark.
they don't even have to, I can do it, you don't even have to, because it's not applicable. But by affirmation, again, all those in favor of, just acknowledging that his 61 Dartmouth is a certificate of non-applicability, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, abstain. Is there any abstentions? Yes.
Myself.
Okay. Okay. We can go.
Yeah, we can do both. That's fine.
Thank you. This is my house, we're not a quorum, I can't vote, I'm staying, so. Sorry.
Okay, next is
Take your spot.
151 Westminster. This is the one I can't read possibly.
How come?
Well, because I couldn't read that when I was a kid.
Oh my Lord.
You have
I can
bigger
give you-
paperwork, larger stuff.
I surely do.
I don't know if you can make that big enough without it getting blurry. If you could help us with that, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
With my old eyes. Let's see what we have here, what I can read.
Oh, even this is not, I can, well, I made a big one for myself or this one is not, okay.
Okay, it's application for a certificate of non-applicability. Post changes exterior, all unpainted surface to be primed, remove loose paint, replace defective structural decorative members to match existing material appearance and performance. On porch ceiling, lower front porch, second floor porch, right side, ladder, skirting, siding, painting. Remove, replace porch decking with 1 inch by 4 inch verifying the roof flooring, no change in design and interior, remove existing stairs and foundation stair, pine risers. 1 inch for treads, 2 by 12 stringer design and bearing on concrete at grade. Repair, replace ladder, skirting, trim boards and rails, install necessary rails and number 1 double further support members. Compare and point. Existing defective piers. Remove old mortar, reset bricks and new mortar and match existing regular joints to half depth. Brush, clean and new state the foundation, jack and level and lower front porch repair and replace the time to match. No change in design. The roof replace missing defective shingles to match existing appearance and performance to replace gutters. Porches, front, second floor, remove existing floorboard, reinstall match original right side porch, remove deteriorating glass, skirting, replace the mat. No change in design, remove existing steps, excavated needed for replacing concrete stairs with the thread and rise into the ratio of wind and threshold. Siding and trim to be replaced, period, prime paint, no change in design. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-hour project, right?
Yeah. 2.5.
Half hour to clean up? Yeah. That's a heck of a project there. I think you covered it as a non-applicability. We just like to double check sometimes. We feel like missing something. Is what, like I just said to the other gentleman, if this is what you do, there's no change. You find, so you can't do it. You gotta make something that's a change, either material or design. Then you gotta let us know before you do it. Commissioners in agreement that this appears to be non-applicability. Okay.
At the same time, because you're receiving funds from the CDA.
This one we have to have here.
She would have to adhere or she would be reimbursed with the total grant.
Okay.
Right.
You have to have a hearing for this.
No, not
No.
here, but yeah.
All right, so you are.
Yes, I am.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just, I would just take a affirmation that this is an application for non-applicability 151 Westminster. Brian, you there? All in favor of this
Aye.
non-applicability? Aye. Brian,
Yes, I am.
okay, thank you. All right. You're all set.
Can I have that back?
Oh, yeah, that's yours.
Sorry.
I tried to
Based on your
steal it. I
questions.
thought I tried to make it.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
I appreciate this.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what you're saying earlier.
Yeah.
Next is 94 Thompson. All of you read an awful lot.
I did, basically the same as what she has,
Yeah.
there was one thing though that. They made a change to the application,
Mhm.
and I didn't.
This one, I'm looking at right here.
Yeah,
Okay, it says exterior front
Yeah.
porch, remove and replace structural elements within time to match appearance and performance. No change to shape, location, or design. The roof across the main facade patch of membrane and roof cement. Right side of roof strip existing materials covered in 1/2 inch fiberboard installed black. So EPDM rubber roofing installed 6 by 6 inch mat black aluminum grip it. Second floor porch remove and replace damaged wood with deteriorated elements. No change in shape, location, and design. Prime and paint, install handrails and porch to conform to building standards until HD handrail guidelines. So it could be it. John Collins report, sole recommendation for. So
that was the new part, everything else is just.
the new part was.
With the railing, there's no handrails right there now.
Right there. We have pictures here. Here's what they're the original.
Yeah.
Okay, where are there no handrails? Right in the front of the.
Right in the front.
Oh, right in the front. Okay.
Yeah, it
We
used to be-
just pipe, put the pipe around.
Well, he had said, to bring it to you guys, because right now, there's 4 steps, and back in the day, there's only 3 steps. So I do a huge Halloween thing for the kids every year, and it gets pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do is I want to do the same as the railing, since we're actually repairing some of the railings, from dry rot.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if I can do the same exact thing that's similar to,
Well, that wouldn't be historically accurate. Copy that railing and bring it down the stairs.
right, but then in the 30s, there was no railing there at all either.
That's true, that's true.
And in the
Yeah.
70s, there was
But if you had
a
a.
piece of like wood, there was you'll see like,
Yeah. What would have been the most, unless somebody jumps in here and straightens it out, would be the most appropriate if it was just one step bigger, there would have been a pipe.
Right.
Correct? Yeah. And that's cheaper to do it any other way. I see, no, you don't like that, huh? Where it's not likely to get approved that you duplicate the railings and bring them down the stairs, it's just not.
Mhm.
Something, unless it's. We get things.
so, well, whichever, this is
Yeah.
kind of the idea, this is a little more elaborate, but basically the same idea. And that's, I can get them.
Brian, what do you think of that?
There should be.
You can see, oh, we see.
Do you have,
The handrail guidelines.
can you see
Like
this,
over
Brian?
That's this one, right?
I don't even have that tree there.
Is it this one?
Yeah, I can see you guys. I don't have a really good, no, I don't see what you're looking at on my screen though. I have to go by my files.
Oh, her idea to duplicate
He can see us, so can you hold it up?
See that.
Yeah, I don't, you're not gonna be able to see that.
Can, this is
That's not the
Zoom,
house,
right? Are we
That's,
sharing
yeah, that's an old
screen?
picture then.
Do you have that kind of packet?
That picture right there isn't in the packet. They said to bring that.
I don't know, I don't think.
It's basically the same handrail, like it'll be the same rail as on the porch.
I'm not really certain on that one.
Yeah.
Well, my suggestion is that it should be a pipe rail. But it's just 3 steps.
And it's usually my suggestion as well on property.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to make sure you and I were on the same page.
Sorry, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here. I'm kind of laid up in bed. My knees, I got an ACL ripped open my knee, so I can't move. So, but I'll be there in person next time.
Okay, this is, most old homes are not built with handrails along porch stairs. Just acknowledge that. The commission will consider applications to add them. In general, less noticeable than better. You know, it's less visible, very important.
Right.
For restoration.
Which is probably why.
Metal pipe rail no more than 2 inches in diameter is preferred. Such rails will be approved under certificate of non-applicability and will not require a public hearing. Well, that's what the guy, he's got up there, what I'm reading. A metal rail with plain spindles is the second option. Then down one, wood rails which match the porch railing will be considered. Such rails may be approved under a certificate appropriate after a public hearing. Okay, we just really haven't done that, but it says it would be approved. Wood handrails which do not match the porch railing are inappropriate, does not be approved. Okay.
That's why I don't want the number 2 selection, that's.
No, I don't like
That's
that either,
hideous,
but
I'm
I
like-
I don't know why that's even there, but
Yeah.
the pipe rail would be my first,
Mhm.
but,
With your style spindles, it's in my opinion, if you cascade it down,
Right,
it's gonna look like inappropriate rails because they're so visible.
Mhm.
It's gonna cascade down, and so it's gonna look like some of the people that put that on,
Mhm.
they really shouldn't put it on. You're gonna see it.
okay,
I also wonder how long it's gonna last because it's gonna get hammered. Whatever. But visibly, it's something you're gonna see.
if you. No,
That's second.
let me go back to that. Moving to structural elements.
Is there a porch again, please?
here's a,
So at least those are still short.
yes. Yeah, we'll just return some of the driveway on the left side of there.
Okay.
It would stay 3 steps?
It's actually 4, you see the brick step on.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, that's
That's
why,
why everyone trips on.
yeah, and that's why it's in the winter, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now with the kids, we just sit on the front porch and you don't let them go up the stairs, like, don't come up.
They're beautiful porch.
She's saying the word beautiful house.
So those little bracket, those bracket pieces,
Yeah.
I actually recreated those when we did the house in 2004, because everyone's rotted.
Yeah.
So, and I brought them to the back as well, like the back porch.
Yeah.
That you can't really see, but,
Yeah, it's the details.
and I'd like to do more. What I want to do is underneath, and this is a whole different part, but the underneath the porch. They put, it's like vinyl soffit, it's terrible. I'd like to replace it appropriately down the road, so, but that's.
Yeah.
But I do have a question on the back rear porch, even though you can't see it, you can only see a portion of it.
Okay.
Because it's falling apart. I don't know if you have the pictures on file, or I can print that right here too.
Well, we got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
I haven't.
okay, good. So.
I mean, that's not original, the way those are.
It's-
Not original.
And my question to you is, I know that it says, to replace everything just as it is, which is fine. Because last year we had to redo the flooring temporarily, because this whole porch is got to be. The whole top part has to come off, it's a hazard, but we redid the flooring with fur. Just so people wouldn't fall through, and but it's pulling away from the house, and that my question is the rail, because it's solid. I don't know if you can see.
I have this.
You have your.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about, I'm on the second floor porch. You see on the wall, it's a short wall, so I wanted to know if we create that. Yes, so if we can either make the seat, the front part, the seat part, so it doesn't cool on the sides, right now it rotted everything else. And they built it up on top, so that it's not like one single pole, all goes all the way down the foundation. They built it up on like a 4x4 pole and then boxed it out. It's terrible, but it's pulling away from the house. So that rail, the question that I have, the wall, should I replace the same exact wall, but put a rail up on top for safety?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's because it's so short that, I mean, the only thing it's good for is like moving furniture from the second floor out.
The reason you use a pipe rail, black pipe rail, that is, you won't see it. Somebody driving, that'll be the last thing they notice. They'll notice the porch, the house, it's gonna be shadow, but they won't
Yeah.
see the black.
Because they don't really see that from the back, you only see the corner of the porch,
Yeah.
from the sidewalk.
I mean, that is kind of awful.
It's horrible. It is an awful, awful, awful porch. It is.
But that's not.
Okay.
If
All
you're
right.
gonna keep, you should keep that same height with the last.
So I can keep the same height, but I can put a rail on top of it, a pole,
On the first floor one, you don't have.
No, the first floor is, no, that one's, it's just the second floor one is.
Okay, so where are we on what we're thinking here? Now, this just says that install a handrail of the porch to conform to building standards and knowledge. Local disorders can handle that. So. My feeling is black. Black. Anybody else?
Black.
Anybody else?
I agree.
So that is not, well, that would make it not applicability.
Mhm.
Green to black, like,
Okay, so I wouldn't have to come back to do. If I-
No problem, Russell.
no bigger than just 2 inches. Anybody else want, have any questions for the petitioner? Okay, since this is not applicability. we're gonna do the hearing. And, agreeing to the, we're agreeing to the black pipe. So why don't we make a motion, so we put the black pipe in motion. So you have to take a motion to indicate in this application for certificate of non-applicability at 94 Thompson Street. Designated 2-inch black pipe with a hand grip. Second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let me go to call the vote. Where did I leave it? I don't know. And also for the record that the commissioner already has left the meeting. Commissioner Booth Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Brian McFarland,
Yes,
Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
And Commissioner Walsh is yes. So if it's found to be non-applicable, including 2-inch black.
All right,
Hey,
thanks.
welcome.
Great. Have a good night.
Remember we were talking, right? 170, 172 Buckingham. Name and address for the record.
Diane Craig, 170, 172 Buckingham Street.
Okay, this is an application for certificate of non-applicability, chimney repairs. Rebuilding top section of existing or new brick and mortar built half to match existing point pair chimney foundation. You needed that point for foundation repaired interior mortar and raking. Joints to 1/2 inch depth and running the new mortar to match as close as possible storm door. Second floor 170. Install new aluminum combination door unit. Door H hatchways, secure bulkheads and walls and light vents, caulk and watertight. Repair, replace interior wood trim elements and kind of match existing or original design appearance. Trying to paint and sand and repair defects and cover cutting strength. No change in design of material. Suzanne Collins report the complete details of preparation consultant. So I stand on that. The recommendation of the project, no change in the lack of an appearance. Okay.
All right.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Stuff at 20.
It is. It is. Very so. Any questions for the petitioner from anyone?
no, sir.
Thank you. The storm is already.
Happen when you stick 2 meetings worth of stuff in 1 meeting.
Sorry, no, I didn't say that.
That's okay. I'll get it. You're doing a lot of talking.
Good for that, beginning and end. Okay, this is, does everybody affirm that this is not applicability? This is one for money as well?
Yeah.
The collision.
Yep.
We have to.
All these are under,
We're all under.
they're all in the home restoration.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Take a motion to confirm the application for certificate now. The building 170, 172 Buckingham Street. I missed something?
Second.
Any
Yes.
discussion on that motion? Because it's money, I'm right in the vote.
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland.
Yes, Commissioner Walsh.
Yep, well, I'm taking a vote on it, that it's not applicable. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Let's get them on, you can tell Commissioner Walsh, Commissioner Dutiful.
Yes.
Anything changes, they'll. They'll be doing this correctly, so something has to change, some. Get back in front of us.
All right.
And 29 Beechwood.
Thank you all.
Project. 29 Beechwood.
29 Beechwood.
Stack lunches. Okay, 29 Beechwood, so. I don't think people would be here. This is an application for certificate of non-applicability. Strictly repair place shingle in front rear of the house, so house wrap, re-shingle, and then like see the wood shingle. Well, it's just if it's not applicability, if you read it, it's not, it is.
Oh,
They don't
okay.
actually have to be here.
I didn't know that.
You guys have questions, we can certainly ask them.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, this is, we're doing a little bit different. And messed up on. Years ago. So we're trying to be extra careful, not applicable. There, if it's not applicable, if I read it and I think it's not applicability, I can just.
I understand what you're saying, but we said because it was money involved, we were gonna vote.
Yes, yeah. Even that, I don't think we have, we do
Okay.
have to have, not a hearing, but it's gotta be.
Okay.
Remainder of the house replace different wood trim and elements and trying to match existing original design appearance, trying to paint, sand, repair defects. No change in design and material, front porch, second floor. Filled up with PTC. 3/4 inch. Plywood and covered half inch fiberboard repair roof. That's why a little drip edge. Second floor of the room, strip existing platform down the board and cover with 1/2 inch fiberboard repair. Install roofing, install that black aluminum brick, it's flashing, rails and second one porch, place to match. Roof on the left side. Cover existing with one light coat asphalt. At the young man's roof, to John Collins reports. Nothing else we have to do with the phone, but this is. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to affirm the application for certificate of non-applicability at 96 Beechwood Avenue as
29 Beechwood.
29 Beechwood Avenue as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay. Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes. Commissioner Judith Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually, not least. Invited the public. 63 Mulberry Street, Carrot Top demolition ordered by the building commissioner. Hanging. Okay, is nobody talking to us on this?
Yeah, well, no, we don't have anyone, it's not a petition. It's just bringing,
Bringing it to our session. They have to tear it down.
exactly.
So we don't have any, no question for us to have.
Because it was born.
Is this a city driven thing or?
I don't know.
Petition they get you where to tear it down.
I have no idea, it's just a code enforcement issue put in front of us. I thought we'd have a question, this is, they're just doing it and they're letting us know.
Where is it?
So what we have to do with this piece of paper?
It was a court order, I believe, by the city's code enforcement, and the building department. And it's been in court for a few years now, and, they just were awarded, I don't know the exact date, but, the building commissioner stated that the destruction must come out forthwith, based on whatever, court order. Yeah, those materials.
Did it already come down? No. Well, it's not in our purview to do it. There's nothing. We can't. We can't stop it. We can't argue about it. Can't even ask questions. Can't comment on it. Can't comment on it. All work to be done. Curious us to.
It says the time shall appear in court for a review of this matter on the 18th of August.
You have to go all the way back to see it.
Yeah,
It's all the way down a long drive.
I have it.
From anywhere. It was like the 1931 forward. It was a great structure. I've seen it.
Okay, so there's nothing for us to do.
It's not, that's not our.
No, it's an FYI.
Yep.
Okay, all right, well, that's too bad. And then the discussion on Thompson Street. We can make this one fairly quickly. Were you here for a specific reason?
No, I just want to connect.
Oh, okay, all right. I just didn't want, if I missed something.
They were my ride, so they took it home when I came back.
Okay, okay. And let me just ask, are you have anything to add to speak out? The reason I'm asking you, just hang on a second, I just wanted to know, because Alvin's got run out of time.
No, then that's fine.
So I'm gonna try to wrap it up fairly quickly, so I'm,
It's been a long night. No,
yeah,
take your time.
3941 Thompson Street. I went over the house. Went over the previous meetings, listened to them. And have found, I think, numerous, although there's one in question for sure. He did not comply in many. Yes, so. We have to, I'm not sure what our options are here.
So what's the process then?
I mean, you can certainly.
We ask them back, or do we? Send
Well, he
them
knows
like
what he's coming
influences,
back.
or-
Yeah, we can send them a letter, or I can just call them and say, hey, we need you to come back. But essentially, if you guys want to hold him to a certain standard to say, hey, you made this change outside of the.
Outside of the scope.
This is- Yeah.
Right, I mean, here, let me go over what he agreed to, and
Yeah.
if you. Did Alvin send you the link, the YouTube links?
I'll only
Yeah.
send it to the folks that were.
That were there.
I'll be you and Al.
Okay. I made a couple of notes.
Is that it? The duplex?
Yeah, that's the house.
Yeah, so a couple things, the skeleton on the top is not
not
clearly
there.
in the window. In the first, the second meeting, we actually said faux window or faux. window.
Yeah.
Whether it's real or faux,
Right.
the set.
So the reason he didn't put it in is because they have a requirement now that the firewall go entirely up, which is okay. But he couldn't put a full window, and he didn't. The front porch is really a deck, and the railings are nothing like, it was pointed out to them that the railings were nothing like what railings should have been.
Yeah.
So in the meeting, we don't have the material in front of us here. He agreed to all these changes. Now, one of the things that's not real specific and we might get caught on is decking. But in one of the things that Shannon Walsh put together that we gave him for guidelines, said
That was.
not a deck. Front a porch, not a deck. If he says at the meeting that he's complied with just about everything, what he doesn't say, I complied with everything. So I think
Who was the guy? Who's the?
this was the architect.
Well, part of it was the architect was the one who was at the meeting.
So
there's the other.
So this one, the roof pitch he agreed to, but I think he did that. The full window he agreed to, we didn't do it. It is a deck, it is a deck. He said in the third of the 4 meetings, or the second of the 3 meetings, that he would do all the things in Shannon Walsh's recommendations. And his words, pretty much everything. But on the 12-2 meeting, if you want to look at it, the December 2nd meeting, it's an hour in before he starts. And on the 12-16 meetings, it's 8 minutes and 44 seconds before he starts. If you want to. I figured I could, it might get you a better chance to see it if I could give you a starting point.
Yeah.
Of where to look, because I had to go through and listen and find them. He, in the 12-2 meeting, he acknowledged he complied with all. That's my note. I think, did I write it exactly how he said it? In the next meeting, he says pretty much everything. So I want to hold him to everything. If he wants to fight on the floor later, well, maybe we can just put some more detail. So like the balusters you're looking at, whether it was said, not said, in writing or not in writing, in his schematic that he drew,
Yeah,
it's
it's
that way.
there.
It's
Yeah.
as it should, which is what we had discussed, which is not that. So the railings themselves are not appropriate as to what he presented, along with the railings on the porch layout.
Right, that's ridiculous. What we did there.
So that I'm just pointing it out, like specifically the railings, the balusters are wrong and
Everything is not.
the handrails on the way up are incorrect. And those were in the agreement.
And the scalloping was clearly.
Well, he said scalloping. That was
In the motion.
Scalloping was in the motion, a window at the top was in the motion.
Window or faux window.
Correct.
So,
I guess somebody, which I, if you want to be specific, which items do we want to hold into?
Everything that's,
Everything that he.
I think that like
scalloping, faux windows,
Yeah.
railings, balusters. Porch flooring. And handrails. Is that good?
Yeah, the only, like I said, the only one that you have to kind of. Maybe have what you're gonna back it with is the decking,
Right, but let him make the argument,
because
he said in it, he agreed. But if they want to, if they.
because everything else is black and white, it's in writing. Of what to take, like, to do
And
that.
when it says porch, not deck, it doesn't say.
Tongue and groove, right, tongue and groove, right.
Yeah, so, but I still would like, if we're gonna hold him to that, we might as well try to hold him to everything with flooring too, because he's just built a deck in the front.
So yeah, I have scalloping, bow window, third floor, porch flooring, and then handrails. If I'm missing anything.
The railings, all the railings are inappropriate. Not what he agreed to, they were supposed to be.
Although he did the.
Top and bottom rail.
Bottom part.
The front looks better, but it still has the,
Doesn't have what.
it still has the side rail.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway,
I don't know if Brian can see that. Can you see that, Brian?
Yeah, you can see this.
Oh, okay.
Can't really see us.
okay. All right, we good?
I have a suggestion. Can we have a sign-in sheet at the meeting, so people who come in first can be heard first? Why not?
Because the agenda has to be posted prior to the meeting.
But you could take people out of order.
But you can take people out of order.
We can take them out of order anyways, but it has to be specific. To us, so if you said to me, just like he did, can we take this out of order? We can vote to take it out of order, take it.
So we can't have like a sign-in sheet when we come in and say, we vote to take this out of order. I'm just asking.
Somebody might have wanted to come, like if you had a resident that wanted to come. and they
My
said,
understanding of the open meeting law, that the agenda has to be set.
Oh, I understand that.
Right, so if we did that, knowing every single meeting, we were gonna change it, it's almost to me like, I would feel like that was a violation. Maybe not, we could, let's propose to Mr. Chuchuk.
Well, because if somebody from 21 Buckingham is the first person here, and they're the 11th person
Yeah,
on the
poor
list.
woman, she was so.
I mean, and then,
Well, typically, we won't have, as many items on the.
I remember this is the meeting.
In the next one, will be two big dollars.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
Well, you can still pledge that,
It's not a bad thought, I just, I try to do it from my understanding of the open meeting laws, because. If we violate the open meeting law, somebody is gonna be,
I understand.
yeah, but I don't mind it if we're okay to be legally done, I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
But we just gotta have somebody through that door. So if you're down there, if you're around there, ask them,
Sure.
or you could.
Future?
Yeah, Bob.
Chewy.
Rob, what's he go by, Rob?
I said shoot me.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn. So moved.
Oh,
On the agenda, was there anything to the CPC historical restoration program?
All of those, several of those were fell under that.
yep,
Oh, so these
the
were discussed.
ABCD, yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Right, don't wreck that knee.